Hi, I'm Shoestring Jane. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things thrifty, frugal and money saving. And I'll start today's little chat by saying I have just managed to have a completely free haircut. So I'm quite pleased with that. She did quite a good job. It was a student. I just happened to be going up to the chemist to get my prescription and I saw there was a sign on the door saying models wanted free haircuts. So I thought, okay, let's do it. Let's go and book an appointment. And when I went in, she said, oh, do you want to do it now? Because I've got nobody in today and I really need the practice. So I said, okay, let's do it. So just sat in a very hot salon. It's a hot day today. It's the hottest day of the year, I think. So it was very, very warm, but I think she's done a pretty good job. I'm quite pleased with it. Her manager was very much looking over her shoulder and checking what she was doing and everything, and could cope with my odd little quirks like having a cow's lick and hair that naturally sits really heavy on this side, so it always looks longer on one side than the other. I think it's just my wonky head. So she did a good job. I'm really, really pleased. So free haircut, good start to the day, very nice sunny day, and I haven't had to take Archie out because Justin's taking him, so that's really good. Anyway, what I thought I would do is show you my latest charity shop haul from my favourite little charity shop, which is on the way to my mum's house. I went over yesterday and packed what felt like about 100 flipping little bits of china and glass because my mum has got a cottage full of vintage knickknacks. She just loves this stuff. Must be where I get it from. She loves it. She's collected it over many years. And the idea is that we were going to go through and I was helping her pack them and she was supposed to be getting rid of some stuff. And she did get rid of a few bits. I mean, there were probably maybe just two large carrier bags full of bits that she's agreed that we will try to sell. We're going to do a boot sale next Saturday, all being well with the weather. But there was an awful lot that she said, oh, I'll take it. And she's moving into, all being well anyway, a very small 2-bedroom retirement property that doesn't have as much storage as her current cottage. So I think she's going to end up unpacking and immediately taking a load of stuff to the charity shop or the auction house or whatever. So it's hard though, isn't it? When you've been living in one house for 35 years and all your memories of your husband are there. My dad, he died last year. She's making a big move. So it's really hard. So I wasn't pushing her to get rid of anything unless she was really, really sure about it, because it's emotional, it's hard. I mean, I found it emotional. My dad is in every bit of that house, and it's their life together was really great there and they really enjoyed living there. And, letting it go is a big decision to make, isn't it? And she has been forced to do it because the stairs are ridiculous. I did actually manage to get a removal man to come round and give us a quote whilst I was there, which was great. I just happened to ring someone up who was local, and he also lives in a very similar ridiculous cottage that's very higgledy-piggledy with terrible stairs. So he was the perfect person. I rang him up and he just happened to be up the road. He was filling up his van with petrol. So he said, I can come straight round. So that was very fortuitous. And he came round and he understood things like, you can't get things down these stairs, things have to come apart, some things have to go out of the upstairs window, which is where they went in originally. He understood all of that. He's got a good sized Luton van and he thinks he can get it all in one go, considering she's not taking a lot of the furniture with her. So that was sorted out. Did quite a lot of the packing, kept looking around thinking there's still an awful lot to pack, but some of my siblings are going over this weekend, so I've told them they are not to leave that house without packing a couple of boxes each. So we will get there. So I'm eating hair. I just realised eating hair. Keep swishing it because it feels all kind of freshly done. I'd already washed my hair and done my roots before I went, so it's been washed twice today. Anyway, let's get on with this little haul. I'll show you what I bought. I bought this for myself. It was £2 and it is your crochet and knitting, and it's got some knitting needles in it. It's got loads of wool and presumably some patterns. It's talking about granny squares, and this is what I want to learn to do. I do actually know how to knit. I did used to be able to knit a long time ago, but I haven't done any knitting for ages and I would like to learn to crochet. So when I saw that I thought, I keep having a go saying I'm going to start crocheting, but having a little mini project or even starting with some knitting to get my confidence up, I just thought it was a good idea. £2, I thought that was a bargain. I don't know how much this would have been initially. Has it got a date on it even? Would have been £10.99, and it was from September 23, so relatively modern. Somebody's bought that themselves and they've got round to doing it and ended up in the charity shop. I really was focusing on mainly a vintage stuff where I could find it, but I did buy some other bits as well, just generally. So this is a phase 8, so I get myself comfortable. This is a phase 8 dress, and it's just a plain jersey, kind of, I was going to say A-line, but it's a bit more than A-line dress. It's like a midi dress, knee-length dress, and it kind of floats out at the bottom. My descriptions are going to be better than that when I come to list it, I hope. But everything in that shop is usually £1 or £2 in terms of clothing. So, you know I can make some money on it. I bought this for myself. I used to keep chickens. We kept hens for quite a number of years. And in the last house, there were so many foxes that I just thought I'm not going to start keeping hens again, because they just wouldn't have stood a chance, really. It would have been a constant battle with the foxes. They were always in the garden. They were everywhere around. There was a whole load of them living in the scout hut at the bottom of the garden. So, they actually, not in that house, but my previous house, they got one lot of chickens in the previous house. They only managed to kill about 3. And then I ran down the garden and managed to chase them away. And previously, in the house before that, I heard the chickens start to squawk early one morning, and I got out there double quick in my nightie, chased the fox off, and they didn't get any then. So it's a problem where the chickens, because I tended to let them put themselves to bed and come out and into an enclosed run, which I thought was safe, but it really wasn't with the second house anyway. It wasn't. So I needed to be locking them up. So it's a problem in the winter, isn't it? When it gets dark very early and you've got to get home and get them actually in and locked in before the foxes get to them. Here, I've seen maybe 1 or 2 foxes in the year and a half that we've lived here. I know there are some around, but they aren't the problem that they were at the last house. So I don't know if we're going to get any. I just saw this and thought, I'd love to keep hens again at some point. I certainly don't think it's not anything we've discussed. It's not in Justin's plan, but I did have a book about keeping hens, and I gave it to my friend Jan because she got a load of rescue hens. So I gave that to her thinking I'll never keep them again. I've now got a book. That's as far as I've got. I may not have any chickens ever again. We'll see. I haven't mentioned it to Justin at all, so I picked up these because I thought they were cute. They're just some little vintage cups. They're made in England. They don't have, oh yes they do. I was going to say they don't have a maker, but it's G and E. It sounds like it should be General and Electric or something. General Electric. There are 6 cups. There's 2 more, all with classic car designs on them. I'm going to put these up here so that I don't break them as I go. So that's 4. I actually picked them up initially and thought, oh, they're quite cute. And I thought they were just the cups. And then the lady who works there said, oh, there's some plates and some side plates with those as well. So I got the whole lot. There's the side plates. So one of the cups anyway has got a chip on it. These look okay, but they're more decorative than for use, aren't they? There are 6 of those and only 5 of the saucers, 6 of the cups. So not quite complete set, but I thought they were good. They were actually £8. It was a bit of a chance because, I'll put these somewhere. It was a bit of a chance because I don't really know what the value is on them, but I thought they were interesting and I'm sure to get my money back and a bit more. Got my oldie mug. Onto the clothing. So, this is vintage. It is also quite ugly, but I don't think it's quite 80s, but I may be wrong. It's Dorita, made in England, and it is a jacket with very padded shoulders and a kind of sequined detail, which is actually in very good nick. I think it's about, it says it's a size 12, but honestly, this is not a size 12. Look at those shoulder pads. God, they're awful. They actually got quite a bit ruched up. Let me put you back a bit and show you the true joy of this jacket. Oh, maybe it is a 12. Oh God, it's great, isn't it? I think I actually need to display that quite well because it looks better on than it does off, but it's very much of its time, isn't it? I'd say that's 80s. If anybody else knows any different, let me know. I haven't done any research on that brand and I've never heard of that brand, but it's all in very good condition and, you know, of its time, as I say. This isn't vintage, but it's just quite a nice coast. I assume this is wool. It's a winter skirt and it's lined. Let's see what it's made of. It's not wool at all. Oh, yes, it is. It's 65% wool with a mixture of viscose. Oh, wool and viscose is the main fabric, and then it's got a polyester lining. And it's got this nice embroidery, and it looked in really good condition. And it's like a midi skirt. I think that's quite classic sort of design. So I don't know what value. Coast doesn't go for a lot now, you know, not like it used to. It used to go for a lot. Doesn't as much now, but still, I think when they're charging me £1 or £2, it's worth it. This is another very ugly thing. It's a St Michael one, I think. I thought it might be silk actually, but it's not. It's completely synthetic. St Michael. Again, it's a size 12. It is, I can never remember how you date St Michael, but this says 12/86. I'm reckoning this is 80s as well. It is 100% polyester, but it does feel quite like silk. And I wonder if it's the same person that donated the jacket, because it's same size and the same sort of a puffy sort of sleeve thing going on. Such a nice colour, isn't it? But I don't suit big shoulders. I think that just makes me look a bit butch. But, you know, someone might like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of learning with vintage clothing. Some things are a winner. If you've watched my videos regularly, you will have seen I bought an incredible dress. I'll try and remember to insert a picture of it here, from the same shop for a couple of quid, and I recently sold it for 40. And it was like a Margot Ledbetter from the Good Life dress, if anyone knows that. This was actually in there last time when I bought that, and I didn't buy it because I thought it's a bit ugly, but I still can see someone doing a theatre production maybe wanting a very ugly dress like this. It's vintage, obviously. It's Debenhams, I think, because it says classics, but it's quite faded, the label. But Debenhams used to do classics, but I guess other companies might do classics. I'm going to need to do a little bit of research on that. I don't think there's a lot of value in it. I just thought, well, I'm on a search. It's got shoulder pads as well. I'm on a search for vintage clothing. This is pure like polyester stuff as well. So why not? Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. I don't think anyone would wear this in all seriousness because it's pretty old-fashioned and ugly. But if you were doing a production, theatre production or something like that, you wanted something of its time, that would be it. But I say of its time, I think it's possibly 80s as well. But again, tell me what you know otherwise. Picked up just a khaki t-shirt for myself because I wear a lot of khaki. I've got some green trousers. It's quite a long one. It's almost a dress. I think it's next. It's just a size 12. That's just for me. And I did say I wasn't going to do much sourcing this month, didn't I? But I've actually done quite a lot of listing and literally run out of stock. So I thought, well, I may as well, while I'm passing it, get a few more bits, and I'm going to go to a boot sale tomorrow. This is Birktex Occasions. And it's quite, I don't even know if it looks vintage. It's a very vintage style, isn't it, with this layering. It's actually quite nice if you like that sort of thing. It's got belt loops and it does have a belt. I found the belt, it actually had fallen off, so I managed to find that. I'm sure it looks vintage, as I say. Let's see what the label says, if there are any labels in here. It drives you mad when there's no care labels. Made in England. So that is made from 100% acetate. It's got that very rustly acetate type thing, but it's made in England, so it is another vintage dress, and I think that's actually quite nice. I must keep the belt with it, not lose it again. What else did I find? I've forgotten actually, this was yesterday and I haven't looked at this stuff since, so it's like the excitement of the find all over again. This is vintage C&A. So, you know, it hasn't been around for a while, but this is definitely vintage because it's made in the UK. Size 14, I'd say this is an old size 14. Now this has got belt loops, but I could not find a belt. But it's a kind of oriental, definitely not size 12, it's old size 12, isn't it? Because sizing, it's kind of grown, but I do remember these being fashionable. I'd say this is, I don't know, maybe 90s. But yeah, it is, again, it's that kind of jersey polyester stuff, and it's a very slim sort of, it's really quite pretty, oriental style midi dress. So I don't know what value that's got. This is weird. I don't really know why I picked this up, because I literally have this identical linen dress. I think it was only £2 Sainsbury's. I think I got mine from Vinted. And I picked it up because I thought, oh, I've got that and I really like that. So I picked it up. I don't know if I'm going to sell it or what, or just have two of them. It is a good iron anyway, but say £1 or £2 worth a go. This I think is not actually vintage, but it certainly looks vintage, doesn't it? It's got that vintage 60s, 70s sort of midi skirt vibe to it. What a great pattern that is. Isn't that nice? I do really like that, but that wouldn't fit me. It's only Oasis, made in China, UK 12, so that's not vintage, but it is certainly retro, and I like it, but it wouldn't fit me, sadly. And then finally, these are definitely to sell. This is the sort of thing my daughter Chloe would wear. She might steal these if she sees them. Don't know what size they are. They're Urban Outfitters. Can't see a size, which is annoying. Must be a size on here somewhere. Oh, extra small. These are tiny, these won't fit Chloe. But they are faux leather, very soft faux leather, not the sort of thing you'd wear today. You'd be like wearing a sauna. But they are flares, again, very kind of retro looking. Don't know if they've got any value. Again, I just give things a try when they're that cheap, because charity shops, as we all know, are very expensive now. You just can't get any bargains unless you can find a little gem of a charity shop like I have here. So tomorrow I'll be going to a boot sale, so I'll pick up some other things and just restock, make sure I have got some bits. And Mum gave me, I bought home a load of things of hers that I need to list, but obviously that's going to be her money, not mine. So, and I'm going to try and have a week where I am actually organised and productive, like write lists, tick things off my list, because what I've found, I seem to have I do a lot of different things. I'm self-employed. I do a lot of different things that were, when I was at work, they were side hustles, and I've kind of made them my actual job. And I've done a video about this, which I'll try to remember to link below. But the problem I find with myself is, because I just don't appear to be able to be as organised as I used to be when I was working for somebody else, I have a lot to do, but I don't seem to do any of the things that I do well enough. So I do YouTube, as you know. I think probably YouTube is the one thing that I do spend time doing, really, and because I've set myself target to do 2 videos a week, and I publish on a Sunday evening and a Wednesday evening, and I would like to grow my channel because I enjoy doing YouTube, and it's something that I'm focused on, so I can do that. The other thing that used to make me money, that hardly makes me any money now, is my blog, shoestringcottage.com. And a lot of people know me from that blog. That was going for quite a number of years whilst I was still at work, and there were a lot of frugal bloggers, but most of them were US based, and I think people appreciated having some UK bloggers. So that did really well for a while. I took adverts on it and I got a lot of traffic, and it was doing really well. But my focus has gradually shifted away from it, partly because just that's what's happened, because I've become interested in doing other things like YouTube, and partly because Google does such weird things that it doesn't matter, you can do the same thing as you used to do, and the algorithm just doesn't work in the same way. And I find it all completely perplexing. And I know that a lot of bloggers who were actually previously earning their living, and actually earning a decent living doing blogs, have in the last 6 months to a year just seen their traffic take a nosedive because of updates that Google has done. And I think you're so much at the mercy of these big corporations that, you know, to put all of your eggs in one basket is a bad idea. And it's kind of, because I've just seen my ad revenue drop so much, I've it's just made me very unmotivated. But I keep thinking, well, because I loved doing that blog, it was the thing that got me going on everything, and that's what I intended to do, was try and make my living as a blogger. But and I did all right for the first year after I gave up work and I really focused on it. I did okay. Then different things happened, moving house, taking on other things, elderly parents. My focus was just being split a bit. So that's my excuse for not doing it. I do keep thinking I want to get back to doing it. So, I need to write a blog post a week, or at least a couple of blog posts a month. There is a potential readership there for it, and I kind of berate myself for not doing it very much. And then the other thing that I do obviously is eBay or selling online. So not just eBay, but then again, I've said this in other videos, and those of you that also sell on eBay will know eBay's being weird as well. So summer is always a quiet time on eBay. It's much quieter when you're selling online, but even before that hit, it's just gone a bit kaput. So I have been trying really hard to list, and I am selling stuff, but I'm not selling enough to kind of keep things going, and I'm not consistently listing enough. So this is going back to what I'm saying. I'm doing a lot of different things, but I'm not doing any of them well enough. Justin keeps saying, you really should get on TikTok. You're making the videos anyway. And I think, well, okay, yeah, I could do that, but I haven't really found the time or the focus to do it. And they've got the house to do. I want to get the house finished. We haven't finished the decorating, just got some paint arrive actually for the bathroom upstairs. So I've got the paint. How long will it be before I start painting the bathroom? And I've still got bits of this room that I need to complete and finish off the snagging. And the other thing I do is I do freelance writing, and I do keep up with that because I have 2 jobs a month that are ongoing for Mouthy Money. If any of you haven't heard of Mouthy Money, check out their website. They've got loads of different money articles, and I write 2 a month for them. So I definitely always hit those deadlines because I know they're relying on me. I know I've got to do that. So that's another thing I'll give priority to. But, my intention was always to do more freelance writing and to approach other companies. I used to do another site, but that kind of faded out really. And I haven't chased the work, and you do have to, I think. So I haven't done that. And I think it's because, I sometimes feel a bit overwhelmed with what I'm doing. And I think, well, perhaps I need to actually scale down and just do 1 or 2 things. But the issue with that is that if you put all your eggs in one basket, as we know from people that just have done eBay or just have done blogging, stuff happens. You're at the mercy of the companies that run these sites. And if you've got all your eggs in one basket, you can be a bit stuffed. So talking of companies and things going wrong, today the news is there's been a massive IT outage worldwide. So when I was out, actually one of the things I went out for was to pick up some cash because I didn't have any cash, and I thought, well, if I need to buy any groceries or anything over the weekend and the tills are not working, as has happened relatively recently in the UK. Sainsbury's and I think Argos is the same group, but I think there was Asda maybe as well. They weren't working a few months ago, and this is the same today. They're not able to take card payments. Well, they're pushing us towards digital payments all the time. And again, I think this is such a mistake. We need to keep cash. We need to have cash as a backup and we all need to have manual backups of the computer system so that we can continue to operate when things go wrong. And I just heard on the radio as well, somebody ringing Jeremy Vine's show on Radio 2 saying that she's already had a call from what's obviously a scammer saying, oh, we know you've booked a long distance rail trip, but if it wasn't you, please can you ring this number because we've got it against your name. Well, you might be thinking, well, that's not me, so I'll ring them. And they could be if you do have some other train journeys booked, which a lot of us do, let's face it, they could be trying to get you to input your card details or maybe give up passwords and that kind of thing. So you have to be really, really aware that there are scammers about. And they will take advantage of this outage. My big worry this morning was that my daughter was heading off to Indonesia for 2 weeks. So she's planned this trip with her dad for the longest time. And first of all, COVID hit, they couldn't go. And then he had some issues with health and they had to put it off while he had some treatment. And then this morning, she was sitting at the airport and she'd heard about this, but fortunately they checked in before the problems began, doesn't seem to be affecting the actual flights themselves, but a lot of flights since then have been grounded. So she was sitting on the plane and about to take off as she was texting me, so I'm hoping they've gone. I won't find out if they've got there for quite a while because it's a 13-hour trip, but it's a worry, isn't it? It's just a worry. You think, well, you're there, hope you're going to get back okay, or then onto the next leg of the journey. I think they're stopping off at Singapore and then going off to Indonesia. So fingers crossed she gets there. So we're all at the mercy of all these big systems, aren't we? And it is a worry. It's a worry. It just makes me want to just try and scale back, but certainly to have things that have cash at home. I was never a proper prepper, but I used to have much better stores than I do now. I have let them go, and it makes me think that having some food stores is a really good idea. I mean, I did it in preparation for Brexit. In actual fact, the problems with Brexit didn't happen till way after Brexit, but I used those stores when COVID hit. So, I just think if we've got any spare cash that we can have sitting as cash hiding in the house, if you can afford to buy a few extra groceries of things that are non-perishable, like canned stuff and matches and candles and things like that, then it just makes sense to me to do it. I wouldn't be one of those people that really gets everybody into a panic. I don't think that's helpful, but it just makes sense to have some reserves when the world is such an uncertain place and we're being pushed further and further towards making everything online, everything digital, and we are so reliant on the technology. So anyway, they're my thoughts for this morning. I won't go on anymore for now. Let me know if you also take on too much and if you find that you don't feel like you're doing anything well enough, or is it just me? And let me know how you feel about that IT outage, and whether you feel and consider that perhaps a small amount of prepping at least is a worthwhile thing to do, and whether you keep cash in the house, that kind of thing. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up. I would really appreciate it if you subscribe, if you're not a subscriber already. And I will hopefully see you next time. Bye for now.